In this video, we will be learning about 5 kingdom classification. What are those 5 kingdoms, the characteristics of those 5 kingdoms, and their examples. So, without wasting any time, let's start our today's video that is about 5 kingdom classification. Now, here the basic concept is that any organism that you see around yourself falls into one of these categories. Now, what are these categories? Let's know about them. 5 kingdom classification. Okay. Now, what are those 5 categories? What are those 5 kingdoms? Those 5 kingdoms are Monera, the first one. Then we have Protista. Then we have Fungi. After that, Plantae. Then Animalia. Here, in this 5 kingdom classification, we have Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. These are the basic 5 kingdoms. And when you study in depth about them in the chapter of plants and animals separately, you will know that these plants also have many more differentiated categories. In fact, the kingdom of Animalia has 10 different categories further, and in that the vertebrates itself is divided into 5 more categories. Yes, so this is just the basic structure of kingdoms, which are Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. So let's look at them one by one. First, let's look at Monera. Here, Monera. So in examination, teacher will ask you to write 3 characteristics about Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, Animalia, any of these kingdoms. Teacher will ask you to write 3 characteristics and write 1 example. And this question will generally carry 3 marks. Now let's write the characteristics of Monera. First of all, what organisms are in Monera? First, monerans or organisms which are in the kingdom of Monera are acellular. Acellular means unicellular, and unicellular means those organisms only have one cell. Secondly, they are prokaryotes. Now, what is a prokaryote and a eukaryote? In your previous class, you must have studied about 2 types of organisms: prokaryotic organisms and eukaryotic organisms. Prokaryotic organisms are the organisms which have a predefined, or you can say a primitive nucleus, and eukaryotic organisms have a well-defined nucleus. Thirdly, cell wall is made up of peptidoglycans plus cellulose. Now, the cell wall of monerans, or the organisms which are in the kingdom of Monera, their cell wall is made up of cellulose and another substance called as peptidoglycans. Okay. Next point here. This membrane bound organelles are absent here. What that means? Means that all the membrane bound organelles, or the organelles which are present inside a cell, usually are absent in monerans. This is your fourth point, and the last point will be the examples. The example of organisms in the kingdom of Monera are all type of bacteria. Yes, all type of bacteria fall into the group, or you can say fall into the kingdom of Monera. And what are those bacteria? Rhizobium. There are many types of bacteria, but all bacteria fall under the kingdom of Monera. Now let's study the kingdom of Protista. Let us understand the characteristics of the kingdom Protista. First of all, they are the organisms which fall under the kingdom Protista are acellular, or you can see unicellular. They are composed of one cell only. Secondly, they are prokaryotes. Just like the characteristic of Monera, they have both of the similarities, which is being acellular and secondly being a prokaryotic organism. Third characteristic, they lack cell wall. They do not have cell wall. Instead, they have a single layered cell or plasma membrane. Fourth point, respiration takes place through body surface. The process of respiration takes place through the surface, through their body surface. The example of this kingdom is amoeba and paramecium. Now, let's understand the characteristics of kingdom fungi. The characteristics of kingdom fungi are, first of all, they are achlorophyllous. That means their body does not contain chlorophyll. Second point, they are saprophytic or parasitic organism. Now, what is the meaning of saprophytic and what is the meaning of parasitic? Saprophytic means the organism who feed on the dead, and parasitic means the organism who kills a host and lives inside them. Thirdly, cell wall is made up of chitin. The cell wall of organisms who fall under the category of fungi, their cell wall is made up of chitin. Fourth, they are multicellular and eukaryotic organism. Now, till now, we have learned that Monera and Protista, they both are what? They both are acellular and they both are prokaryotic. Acellular and prokaryotic. But here in fungi, we have multicellular and eukaryotic organism. And from now onwards, all the organisms which are fungi, plantae and animalia will be eukaryotic and multicellular. Okay, now to the next point, which is the example. The example of the kingdom fungi are agaricus, which means mushroom, and then we have rhizopus. Let's now understand the characteristics of organisms who fall under the category of plantae. Now, their cell wall is made up of cellulose. The organisms which fell under the category of fungi, their cell wall was made up of chitin, and the cell wall of plant is made up of cellulose. Then we have no locomotion. We cannot see any locomotory organ or any active locomotion in the kingdom of plants. Third point, their body is branched and is irregular. This point is very obvious. Fourth point, they are eukaryotic and multicellular organisms. As I have said before, from now onwards, each and every kingdom will be eukaryotic and multicellular. And the last point, their example. Example is people, banyan, mango tree. You can take any example. Let us now understand the characteristics of kingdom Animalia. Kingdom Animalia, they have limbs which assist them for doing active locomotion. This means that they can move from one place to another with the help of their limbs. Second point, they have very well defined organ systems. They have many organs inside their body. Third point, growth is limited in the animal kingdom. And the last point, example lion, tiger, eagle, sparrow. You can take any example of animals in this kingdom. But the thing here is now, animal kingdom is divided into 10 more parts, and in its last part, which is chordata, chordata is itself divided into 5 more parts. When chordata means vertebrae, that means the animals which have backbone inside their body. Now the kingdom Animalia itself is very huge and is covered in another chapter, Animal Kingdom. But in this chapter, for 5 kingdom classification, you only need to remember these many points of the kingdom Animalia. And for the kingdom Plantae, it is the same case. Plants are also divided into 2 types, phanerogams, then we got cryptogams, and they also have types, Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta. Then we have another type of that Spermatophyta also. So there are many types of Plantae and Animalia, but we won't be learning them in this video because this video is only focused till 5 kingdom classification, that is their main characteristics and examples. So if your concept is clear now about 5 kingdom classification, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.